Hey everybody, Brian Evans here with realestateinvestorcoach.com coming at you with another great video lesson. First and foremost, if you're not a real estate investor coach insider, then the very first thing I want you to do after you watch this video and learn a few things is go to realestateinvestorcoach.com, sign up there to become an insider. It's free, you get a free CD and report, and I'll keep you posted every week with new strategies, tips, news, and updates and so forth. So go to realestateinvestorcoach.com after this video, sign up to become an insider right away. You don't want to miss this stuff. This is great stuff. Okay, onward with today's video lesson. Today I want to talk to you about something that's very, very important if you want to make money in real estate, and this is something that you've got to have a grasp on. You need to know how to do, and that is structuring your offer to purchase on your real estate deals. Okay, there are lots of ways to buy and sell properties, but today we're going to be talking about structuring your offer. The first thing you need to know before you get into what your offer is going to be, your purchase price, how you're going to offer it, structuring it, so on and so forth, is you need to know and have a good understanding and idea of what your exit strategy will be. So you need to know your exit strategies first. There are lots of ways you can make money in real estate. I've outlined a couple here. The first one being wholesale, where you buy low and you sell low. You sell the property or flip the property to another investor who will then do the work to make the money, to make the bigger money on the property. That's called wholesaling. Rehabbing, retailing, that's where you're going to buy low and you're going to potentially fix up the property with a working crew or something like that, and then you want to sell the property, you want to retail the property to an end user buyer, somebody that's going to live in the property. So that's where you're selling it for the top dollar, for its highest end value. Next is you can consider lease optioning the property, where lease optioning is really a glorified rental. So you're leasing the property to somebody with the option to buy it that they have. Next, seller financing. Again, depending on how you buy, you can sell the property with seller financing, where you are the mortgage holder on the property and somebody's paying you for the home. So you could eventually turn somebody from a lease option into a seller finance candidate. Another exit strategy is optioning, where you option the property and then you again try to resell the property, kind of like a retail, but you've taken control of the property based on an option contract, an option to purchase. So then you try to resell the property. So these are some exit strategies that you can consider. So back to the beginning slide, which was the topic of this video and conversation today, is structuring your offer to purchase. So again, the first thing you need to know is what your exit strategies will be. You need to have a good understanding of your exit strategies. Okay. Next, basically, when determining and structuring your offer to purchase, the better that you can buy the property, the easier that it will be for you to sell. Let me explain this a little bit. When you're buying the property, you want to be able to buy it in multiple ways. You don't want to be able to only buy properties one way, by paying cash, or you don't want to be stuck in the habit of only buying properties one way, which is going to the bank and getting a new loan on the property. Okay, you want to use the property as your method of purchase, and I'm going to explain some things here. The more flexible you can and the easier terms and the better terms you can get when buying it, the better you'll be able to sell it with less stress, more money, more cash flow, etc. So the more flexibility you can get when you buy from the seller, the more time you can get from the seller, low or no money down that you can give to the seller, bringing in private money or terms. What I'm referring most of these to here is with seller financing. A good strategy and mindset to get is if you can start to focus on buying properties with seller financing, then that's great. That's a great way to go, because with seller financing you can negotiate things on your behalf, such as more flexibility when you buy, more time that you have before paying off any amounts due, or before closing, or before starting a first payment, or things like that. Low or no money down to the seller. You can bring in private money if it's going to be a cash purchase, and the terms. So it's all about flexibility, time, low or no money down, private money, or terms. I mean, basically this is just a brief outline, but ultimately the better you can get at buying, the easier and the better you will be at selling. Okay? Free equity. This is something that's very important. When you go to structure your offer to purchase, it's extremely important that you know and can get free equity the day you buy, or know how to create it very quickly. If you're doing a short sale, then you know that you're going to create equity by doing the short sale discount negotiation. But free equity is extremely important. You've got to get equity when you buy. If there's no equity, there's no deal, unless you get the most incredible terms on the planet, which we can discuss that briefly. But you've got to get equity when you buy, and that's what it's all about, because ultimately in this business, you're going to make your money when you buy, but you don't realize your money until you sell the property. So you've got to have the equity. The equity is going to be your cushion. But another thing I want to point out to you here is, don't get caught up in all this building wealth. You need to build You need to create cash flow today and then worry about getting wealthy after you've created your cash flow and satisfied your business's cash flow needs, okay? So just focus on making sure that when you structure your deals to purchase, that you do structure your deals based on the idea of getting free equity the day you buy or knowing how to create it very quickly thereafter. It's extremely, extremely important. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for failure. Let's see here, free equity, and then next slide is the formula. Okay, so there's two ways that I'm going to discuss how you can buy here. The first one is going to be based on the formula. The second one is going to be based on the terms. So the formula here is basically if you're going to be paying cash for the property. And if you're going to be paying cash for the property, and it's a property that needs repairs, whether you're going to be wholesaling it, rehabbing or retailing it, or what have you, then you need to follow this formula, okay? ARV times 70% minus repairs equals your MAO, and you never want to pay MAO. ARV stands for after repair value times 70%. This is a combination of multiple numbers, which I won't have time to get into with this video. And then you want to subtract your repairs on the property. That gives you your MAO. MAO stands for maximum allowable offer, and you never want to have to pay MAO. You always want to try to buy less than MAO. So if you've got a property that's worth $100,000, 70% of that means you're at $70,000. Subtracting your repairs for this situation, we're going to say there's $10,000 in repairs. So now you subtract $10,000 repairs from 70, you're down to $60,000. That's your MAO, maximum allowable offer. At this point, you want to make an offer at or below MAO, which I would probably go in around 55 or 50,000 for your offer. Again, everything depends on the seller, the house, and all the other variables that go into it. But this is a great formula to follow. If you're paying more than MAO for a property, then you're setting yourself up for failure and problems, and you're not going to make a whole lot of money when you flip these properties or whatever it is you're doing with them. So this is a great formula to use, to follow, to stick to, whether you're doing short sales, wholesales, retails, whatever the case may be. Okay. The second part of the buying properties and determining your offers and structuring your offers, etc., is the terms. So we talked about the formula. Now we're going to talk about the terms. If you can't buy the property super cheap based on the formula, then you need to be able to buy the property right based on the terms. Buying based on terms is great, and typically with this option here, you're going to be buying properties with seller financing, something like that. So you can pay more for a property if you get better terms. Okay, better terms being this: if you can buy the property with no interest seller financing, no payments for the first 6 months, no down payment or very low down payment, a long-term note. All these things. Basically, you ask for it, you want to try to get it. If you can get good terms, then you're able to pay a little bit more for the property. Okay, so you're either going to buy the property based on the price or the terms. And if you're going to base it on price, then you want to follow the formula. If you're going to base it on terms, then here are some terms for you to follow. Okay. How do you decide what to do? Well, this is going to depend on the seller, your financial situation, what you want to do with the property, what your exit strategy is, and so forth. Your ability to make offers to the seller is based on their needs, and if you keep it based on their needs, then you'll be able to make big money. You want to be flexible when you buy, because remember, the more flexible you can be when you buy, the better you'll be able to buy it. The more options you'll have when buying, and the more flexible you'll be able to be when you sell the property. If you're stuck in a one-way buy, one-way sell mentality, you're gonna have some trouble with this business. Again, treat it like a business. You want to be a transaction engineer. The more knowledge you have, the more ways you know how to buy a property, the more ways you know how to sell a property, the more money you'll make, the more cash flow, etc. Okay, so it depends on the seller. If the seller is out of state, they just want some cash flow, there's some equity in the property, they own it free and clear, it's just probably a deal you want to try to get seller financing. If it's a seller that's behind in payments, and the only option is to do a short sale, well, then you know that your only option is to do a short sale. So if the seller wants cash, and you can negotiate with them to get a purchase price for a cash payment at or below MAO, then you might have a deal where you can bring in private money to do your purchase, to then do a wholesale, rehab, retail, whatever the case may be. So it depends on the seller more than anything else and what the seller needs. Bottom line is this: buy based on price or terms, so one or the other. If you can get both, then it's a major bonus. If you can buy real low and get great terms, then that's a heck of a deal. Do business only with people that are motivated and want to do business with you. Okay, you're going to deal with a lot of people that are time wasters. Always only do business with people that are motivated and want to do business with you. If you're not finding enough people that are motivated, then you need to start doing more marketing and advertising. But the bottom line is this: buy based on price or terms, structure your deals accordingly, and you'll make a heck of a lot of money in this business. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then tell me about it. Post your comments on this blog below, and I look forward to providing you with some other great content in the week ahead. Take care.